Taking Bravo underway.
What's up, everyone? I want to talk about one of the biggest problems affecting COD BO6 right now, aside from the blatant cheaters, but I mean, every game has people just ruining it with cheats, but the way that they respond to the cheaters by basically not responding and doing nothing, they basically made this game a playground for cheaters, and there's really nothing to do if you're just a normal player. It's basically like you need a mod menu or else you're pretty much fucked. This game was not intended for you. Like, you're pretty much not the target audience if you're not in the COD shop spending hundreds of dollars, or if you're not just on the game all day adding a bunch of data points to Activision's giant AI matrix algorithm machine. Basically, it's been pretty much confirmed now, basically, and Treyarch has just been lying about it, and they've like half-ass admitted it. Not really though, pretty much lying about that too, just saying that like the damage thing is a glitch, and that, oh, it's so weird that a bunch of your shots aren't doing the right damage, or sometimes it's just doing no damage at all, but it's giving you all of the effects, like the server registered your bullet actually hit this person, but none of the damage is actually happening, and sometimes the hit markers have weird glitches on it. It's so weird, and it makes the gameplay like shit. Instead of like actually just making a decent game, if they just, you know, ask the players and the play testers like what makes the game fun and let people try to buy it, you know, let's see if it's a fun game. But instead they're trying to like get as much data and as much money as they can from the remaining players, because they know that the player counts are steadily going down year after year. Like, less people are buying each COD every year. There's literally no reason why it should be, you know, variable damage. It should be the same every time. It should be predictable. The first week of Black Ops 6, I was really enjoying the game because it's a predictable, smooth experience. I tried switching over to X-Defiant a couple of months ago, but I had to give up on that game because the servers were shit. There was constant lag. Hit registration was like hitting shots around corners. It was weird, and Ubisoft just never bothered to fix it. They're like, oh, we already released the game, and some people bought cosmetics, so we couldn't really be bothered. But with Black Ops 6, it's like a game that you pay for. It's not even like a free-to-play game by like an up-and-coming studio. It's Activision and Treyarch. You would think out of anybody, they'd be able to make a game that would at least just run stably. Like, they make these games year after year, and they switch between studios, and they build the games off of each other. Like, I'm pretty sure Black Ops 6 is built off the engine that Cold War runs on, so it shouldn't be that hard. Like, you should have a framework, and you should know how to, like, just have games that can support players on them. Why have a multiplayer game if the fucking multiplayer sucks and it has to sync every half second and catch up with the PC? Like, it's not Fallout 76 being made by like a small studio bought by a publisher or anything like that. It's Call of Duty. They make them every year, and somehow they get worse every year, but they have more investors and more money. It makes no sense. They need to stop treating this game like a giant data pool to extract as much data and money as they can out of the investors and the item shop with the COD points, and they need to just like make a good game and sell it. Like, they don't realize that for people to actually like want to play this and for the engagement optimization to work, they're like treating the engagement optimization with every factor the same. Like, they're like pretty much like, oh, if we do this, then this percentage of people will play this much longer, but they don't like account for the fact that when they add data optimization, people feel it when they play the game, and it's kind of an insult to your intelligence, especially when Treyarch is lying to the whole community, when people are just asking since like 2019, hey, is skill-based matchmaking in the game? Hey, are you messing with the lobbies every time the kill cam is going? Like, secretly switching people and balancing lobbies? And then they're all like, no, you know, it's just a normal game. Like, I don't know why. It's like they know what they're doing, and it's kind of an insult to your intelligence, especially when Treyarch is lying to the whole community, when people are just asking since like 2019, hey, is skill-based matchmaking in the game? hey, are you messing with the lobbies every time the kill cam is going? Like secretly switching people and balancing lobbies. And then they're all like, no, it's just a normal game. So we know that they know that what they're doing is bad and that we wouldn't like it if they're basically treating us like experiments, like guinea pigs to run this experiment on known as Call of Duty in 2024. For whatever reason, they can't just be like, yeah, we're going to do something different. Try to see if players like this year. And then if the community collectively was like, yeah, I really hated skill-based matchmaking, they could have dropped it. And maybe more people would have been like, oh, wow, Activision actually listened for once. But I don't know. They're like, yeah, we pay some guy like, $1 million a year to do all this data shit. So we know what we're doing more than the players who just want a good game, and they're the ones giving us money. You know what I mean? Like, even the whales just sitting there buying everything in the item shop, like, even they need a somewhat playable game to, like, go around and show off all their, bought items, cosmetics, weapons, skins, and it doesn't really mean anything, and people don't want to buy it if nobody else is playing it, none of their friends are playing it, or every time people are playing it, they're complaining the whole time because Activision is just putting out slop and expecting all of the reviews to be completely solid and the sales to go right through the roof like they usually do every year, but they're not. It's still going up, but it's just not going up as much as it usually does. And for some reason, it's the community's fault, and now they're punishing us even more, and they're doing shit like skill-based damage and this weird shit where you can shoot somebody like 5 times and it'll just show blood. The server registers that, yeah, you hit this person, but we're gonna do 0 damage and hope you don't notice. But if you do it to like 1 billion people, or tens of millions of people, they're all going to notice because they're gonna like talk to each other, and like people are gonna be like, yeah, did you notice that like if you shoot somebody and they're like a really low level, there's a good chance that it won't do any damage? People were like, oh yeah, I was kind of thinking about that, but now that you reaffirmed it, now that I'm like 100% sure this is happening, instead of being a little bit suspicious. Because I mean, you can lie to a couple of people, but on a scale like this, they're eventually going to notice. Like, they can play the game and see the difference. They can record it and look back over it. Like, eventually they're gonna notice and tell each other what's going on. I don't know what Treyarch expected to like keep up a lie for forever, basically, to millions of people. It makes no sense. Like, why do you think we're so stupid? And just in case anybody thinks like that it's blown out in proportion or that it's a joke, you can literally go on Twitter, type in skill base, and find literally dozens of clips of people showing this exact same thing. And it's blatant. It's not like, oh, he took 2 more bullets, which could usually be like chalked up to latency or some shit. But like shit like this, a rocket, point blank, direct impact, hit marker. Oh, even 8 Thoughts is talking about it. That has to be lag. Cause yeah, usually it does that. It'll give you hit markers, but it'll do no damage.
Bullshit.
Lands right back on me.
Oh my god.
And I don't know why people are like saying that this isn't real. You can literally look at it. There's people like Drifter that have been saying since like MW 2019 that Activision would never do this. Activision all loves us so much they would never ever do something like this. Which I don't even know why people are taking Drifter seriously when he's like the guy that sees ghosts and has these like weird ailments that no other human being has ever been afflicted with. You know what I mean? But people are joining their friends. My friend bought the game the other day. Hasn't played COD in a couple of years, or at least a new one. And he's level 1. I was like Prestige 1, level 40. I was playing Nuketown, and dude, every fucking time I shot him, it took like 10 seconds to kill him. We all know Treyarch is never gonna address it. I don't know why, but for some reason they hate the people that give the money, the fans. They don't take anybody seriously. They just say, yeah, we've identified a glitch, and they're gonna fix the glitch, and then everybody's gonna go, yay, Activision, yippee, or Treyarch or whatever. But the actual thing is, like, no other game is there something where you can hit an enemy and the hit registration will a third of the time be like a hit marker and no damage but there's blood, a hit marker and no blood but there's super low damage, no hit marker and no blood. Sometimes it'll give you a hit marker and blood and no damage at all. It's so weird. If it was a glitch, it could be replicated and reproduced in the exact same scenario with all factors the same. But it's the fact that Treyarch is just experimenting around and changing with how the servers talk to the clients. And people are actually noticing, like, if you play the game every day, like a lot of people do, you notice if the fucking bullets in the way that they hit people change. And the people are like saying that they're going to sue Treyarch. There's probably like a million things in the terms of service that prevent any kind of justice or any litigation from happening. So I don't think that's going to happen in like a million years. The only thing that I can see happening is Treyarch will like be the one to set an example for the rest of the industry if this shit actually works or not. And it's not going to be if the fans enjoy the game or not. It's just going to be the number of sales and the number of average dollars that they get per player. That's really it. I picked up Black Ops 6 as like the first COD in 5 years. It's crazy it's been half a decade, but yeah, Modern Warfare 2019. I stopped playing that really just because I couldn't be bothered. I was just getting kind of bored of COD in general. I didn't really notice anything exceptionally bad about it. For a COD game, you know, the engine in that was like one of the newer ones at the time, or they remade it from the ground up, I'm pretty sure, and added a bunch of new features and shit, like everything that we're used to today, like sliding, mounting, the tactical sprint, shit like that. And they added one day 100 gigabyte Warzone update, and I was just like, fuck it, I don't really feel like downloading that because I'm not even gonna play Warzone, so I didn't really play 2019. I didn't really play Modern Warfare 2 or 3 because when those launched, like the reviews like 2 weeks after were abysmal. Like the fucking honeymoon phase was very short on that game, and you know everybody saw right through it. So Activision kind of tried a bit harder. Like Black Ops 6 was solid all around, like the foundation at least. You know, the story, the multiplayer, the zombies, just like the actual, you know, base features and everything. Like, I bet like when they were doing playtesting on LAN and shit, this game was really solid and really fun. But, you know, the actual release where you have to deal with an XP system, you have to deal with a little bit of latency, the packets, everything loading on the servers. They didn't fucking think about that, it seems. In their game developers, COD has been made year after year after year. I should have realized when they were bought by Microsoft, because it's so weird to the point where I'm starting to think maybe Microsoft just bought Activision so they can ruin COD, and then like 2 years later they're gonna drop the best Halo game the world has ever seen or something. You know what I mean? Like with how bad COD is, it feels like they're doing it on purpose. Like Microsoft is, you know, obviously a loss leader. They have a bunch of failed projects. I feel like COD is just the next failed project. They're like, yeah, we have a bunch of data here, because that's what they're treating the players as, just data points. And they're like, we're going to use this as a test to see how far we can push a game, how far we can ruin it before people notice. Because a lot of people still play Modern Warfare 2 or 3, and I've noticed they've been getting progressively bad. even though they're built on the foundation upon each other. Like Modern Warfare was a new engine, but Modern Warfare 2 was built on that game. So you would think that bare minimum you'd be able to shoot people, run around, load in the maps just as good as you can. Like just everything mechanically, you would think it would work just as good as the first game, but somehow it just always gets shittier. Even when they have more time and budget to put in the other things, because the other things are these experimental features, fucking calculating the damage in advance, shit like that, just to make everybody have like a fair, even playing field for whatever reason. But that just removes the human element out of it. Just because like you think people would want to play the game more, like maybe like without half of the factors in there, like in a controlled environment, I guess I could see how you could get that data. Like if people aren't dying all the time, they want to play the game for a little bit longer. But if people are like playing the game and the mechanics are just weird, and every time year after year people are just getting a 1.0 KD, they're just gonna get really bored, and they don't want their hand to be held. It's not gonna be rewarding if you do get a bunch of kills if the game is just lowering the health of every other enemy, making your health super high, making their bullets just fade into thin air for whatever reason. They're just trying to like do this experimental shit and see how much money they can make, and hopefully nobody plays it. Just like if you bought it, just don't play it, because once they see the data and the numbers that people aren't playing it as often and aren't giving them as much money, they're gonna stop doing that shit. But it's working, and their simulations were right, because for some reason it's just a bunch of people that come home and like hop on their PS5 and just want to play Black Ops 6, which I can understand. Like if you just want to play a video game and kill some time. But like if you actually enjoy video games and want the industry to move forward in a good direction, just don't play the slop. It's that simple. And Microsoft is basically treating it like it's some experiment, when they could literally just print money, but they're trying to like maximize it with how much little effort can we put in also, instead of just being like, yeah, we're gonna put in $100 million this year and we're gonna have a big blowout game that everybody's gonna buy and push the marketing super hard. They're just like, how much can we get away with, and how many dollars can we get per user? Because it's not enough apparently. Like Microsoft isn't really a gaming company anymore, so if COD just isn't worth their time, they're probably just not going to care. They're probably just going to sell it off or just shut it down. Microsoft makes a bunch of money on subscriptions and shit, like passively, like shit like OneDrive, small things like if you buy the media codecs on Windows for whatever reason instead of downloading VLC. They just want every single person in the world to just be familiar with Microsoft and being like, oh, it's okay to give them a couple dollars here and there to make my life a little bit easier. It seems like Microsoft has been going downhill in gaming ever since like the Xbox One, and now they're not really focused on hardware, which they were really good at for a while, and now they're trying to get more into software and subscriptions and cloud gaming and all of this shit. And if it's successful, it's successful. And if not, then they'll shut it or sell it off. They really don't care about the companies under their umbrella, and especially Activision. Like they're never gonna do anything, because not only do they not care about Activision, they bring in so much money anyway. So, what's the point of putting in any more effort when you could just use all of that time and effort and money and just buy one of the bosses, a new BMW with their bonus. So it'll never really get fixed or addressed. They're either gonna silently remove it or announce it as like a finished feature out of beta, and like now it's publicly announced, and everybody's just gonna accept it by the time the next one releases. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. 1 like equals 1 damage.